Hello.
Hello.
Welcome to
Forever
Fandom. Today we are going to be talking Hunger Games. We're going to take a break from the Claw game where we talk about individual fandoms and whether we like them or not. And we are going to jump into a Hunger Games episode.
Again, it should be very obvious. There's going to be spoilers.
Yes, there are going to be spoilers. We should also maybe remind the folks what our
claw was.
What our claw was. Yeah.
Mine was live.
And mine was abandon. Not interested in it. She loves it.
We'll see by the end of doing not just this podcast, but our Forever Fandom, if I've changed that. Because I do feel like you might enjoy it.
Abandon with it?
No, you.
Oh, change me.
To at least consume. I don't think that you'd get to the point where you'd be living it.
Oh, no.
But I think that you would. I think that if you actually took the time to watch the movies and or listen to the books, since I know you don't read, like, at all, not sure if you know how. Do you know how?
Come on now. I read my Bible.
Fair point. Yes, you do.
I don't usually read
Sometimes
other books for
it.
fun, though. I do listen to it also. I do enjoy audiobooks, though.
Yes.
I do. That is
Honestly,
usually how I like to consume books. Okay. So what are you drinking today, Rebekah?
I'm drinking air
Apparently.
in this beautiful air cup.
Yeah, it's a new design.
Pretty. Yes.
We'll sell them.
Mm-hmm.
We'll put a link in the description
for air cups.
I'm on my peppermint tea here. I've already heated it up and enjoying it in my Mickey cup.
You need sugar.
I don't want any sugar, just peppermint tea. Okay, so what you said you had a plan for this episode, so you're kind of running the show here.
Yes.
And I can pretty much mute my mic.
This man knows like nothing about Hunger Games.
Not much.
So
yeah, that's true.
I hear my cat meowing.
I do in the distance also. I don't think they're going to hear that.
Yes.
So why don't we kick us off here? Jump on in.
Okay. So first, my favorite character. I have a lot of favorite characters, but the one I'm going to settle with, at least for this episode, is Clove. You're not told her last name, but Clove from District 2. So mad that she died and didn't become Victor. But,
Okay, so this is a girl character.
Yes.
What book is this from?
The first one.
The first book. Okay.
She's briefly mentioned in the second one when Katniss is doing the victory tour and sees her family and stuff. And
you said she died, so when does she die?
Huh?
When does she die?
She dies probably about 3/4 of the way through the book.
The first book?
Yes.
Okay.
When they go to the feast, which is basically the capital, will announce on like speakers so that everybody in the arena can hear that usually the feast, a standard feast, will have either a bunch of food, because usually food's fairly scarce in the arena, unless if you can hunt and stuff, with actually very few people can, apparently. And aka one of the reasons why it's called the Hunger Games, but there is more reasons I'll get to later. But they go to that. Wait, continue explaining. So the feast will either have a bunch of food for them to have, or it'll have like one piece of stale bread for them to fight over. And so, but this feast, they changed it up a bit where they knew each tribute needed something desperately. Like, for instance, PETA, Katniss's ally / district partner / love interest, whatever, was needing medicine to help his blood poisoning in his leg that he got because of Kato, another one of my favorite characters. But he needed some medicine because the blood poisoning was spreading and stuff. So they were like, we need medicine for him. And so the announcer guy, Claudius Templesmith or something, was like, so there's a feast. And Katniss is like, nope, starts waving away. He's like, I see that some of you already are waving our offer away. But this feast is not normal. This feast, we know each of you needs something desperately. And that will be at the cornucopia at dawn. And so Katniss has used like a sleeping medicine to trick PETA into eating it, and so that he's asleep, like knocked out asleep, because he didn't want her going, because he's like, you're not gonna risk your life, and she's like, I couldn't live with myself if you die, and so there's that whole thing of her doing that to be able to go, but of course most of the others
so she drugs him.
Basically, yeah, she does.
Not a good movie.
Don't do that. don't do that. By the way, just heads up. Don't drug people. That's not good.
You think if that was flipped and he drugged her, she'd be a little mad?
He was bad. You should have seen him afterward. But she got injured, so he waited a bit to like show his madness because he wanted to help her and stuff. Okay. Then he's like, "Okay, the problem is." Both of us survived. She's like, how is that a problem? Because you think that you did the right thing. I did do the right thing. And he's like, see, that. Don't do anything like that or else. Or else what? Cricket.
Did she do the right thing?
I think she did because he would have died without it.
Well, but if he didn't want her to take that risk, so.
Yeah.
Maybe she should have respected that.
But I mean, there are no rules.
You wouldn't really have a movie if she died, though.
If he died.
But if she died getting it. Okay.
But, so
favorite
character. I'm finishing what I'm saying real quick. Yeah. So, Kato, Foxface, Clove, and Katniss all go. And, of course, Foxface, being as clever as she is, runs out, grabs her bag, because they have, like, a bag with what they need inside, and just darts away, because she was hiding inside the cornucopia. And then, Katniss is next to go. She's running to her bag. Then Clove throws a throwing knife at her. It comes on her right side because right now Katniss is deaf in her left side. And so she hears it. She could dodge it. But then she throws another one. Katniss turns around to look. It cuts her right above the eye. And so now one ear is down and it's hard to see through the other eye so left eye is working perfect and right ear is working well. Right eye will, of course, recover because it's just blood. So Clove tackles Katniss and starts threatening her and stuff, which I don't like that part. But, I mean...
It is what it is.
Mm-hmm, it is what it is. And then she mentions Rue, like, oh, we'll kill you just like we killed your little ally. What was her name? The little girl who hopped around the trees? Rue? Well, first Rue, then you. And then she just gets yeeted off Katniss by Thresh, who is Rue's district partner. And you can tell that in District 11, they're very close to each other. They have very tight bonds. And so then he's like, what did you do to her? Did you kill her? And stuff. And because Clove was about to start, like, try and cut up Katniss and stuff with her knives to entertain the audience, to get sponsors and all that. And so...
This sounds horrible.
That part is not good.
Yeah, this is why I don't like this series.
And he's like, what did you do to her? Did you cut her up like you were going to this girl? And she's like, no. Because one of the other careers ended up killing Rue with a spear. It wasn't actually her, but she was talking about, like, the career pack, which she's part of. And so Thresh smashes her skull with a rock. And it's not bleeding, but it leaves an indent. And Katniss is like, yeah, she's a goner. And then Thresh goes up to Katniss and, like, pins her down and stuff. And Katniss is just like, please make it fast. And he's like, what was she saying about Rue being your ally? And she's like, yes, I sung her to sleep because Katniss sung Rue when she died. And he's like, to sleep? And she's like, I sung her to death and stuff and buried her in flowers and stuff like that. And it's a very sweet scene there. And
sad.
It's very sad, but it's a very sweet scene. Okay. How she is, like, respects Rue, even going against the Capitol. And then Thresh is like, just this one time for Rue. And So she runs, and she can hear Clove crying out for her district partner, Kato, this is after they changed the rule so that you and your district partner could survive if you won. And so, I have a theory that Kato actually loved Clove, because you see it mentions the second that Clove's name got called in the reaping, he lunged forward trying to volunteer to be in the games too for the male tribute.
Gotcha.
I think it was to protect her. And the whole time you see him constantly trying to protect her, whether it is trying to rush her out when the tracker jacker nest falls and stuff. And there's just some pretty funny back and forths. Like, there's this one time when Katniss is like in a tree and the whole career pack is underneath her, and she's like, because it's right after like a fire happened, and so she's like, they're like, how are you doing today? And she's like, pretty good, but it's been a bit hot for my taste. Since she got all like burned and stuff in the fire, she's like, it's been a bit hot for my taste. The air's much clearer up here than it's very smoky down there. The air is much clearer up here. How about you come up? And she's like 40 feet high in a tree, like yelling down to them. And a little plot hole, I think, is the careers train their whole life to be in the Hunger Games, because they're taught that winning it is such an honor. And so, but they apparently don't know how to climb a tree.
Interesting.
They've trained, but they don't know how to climb a tree or hunt.
Just on the ground.
Yep, so they're just on the ground. And
okay, so
Kato starts trying to climb the tree. Branches break, he falls, and she's just like, oh, you okay? That looks like that hurt. And he's like, and Glimmer, the District 1 tribute girl, starts trying to climb up, and then she hears it starting to crack, so she quickly scurries down. And then she's like, how about you throw the sword up here to try and get me? And
I think this is in the first movie?
Yeah.
I think I remember some of this.
And they're like, we're not stupid. We can't throw that high. And it's really funny.
Okay.
The back and forth. And Clove's just the whole time like, kill her, she's going to kill us. Like, you could tell that she is scared of Katniss. Then, of course, later she drops tracker jacker nest on them. Hive nest thing, which is mutation / mutt is the nickname for them of capital made / lab made creatures.
Okay.
And they are a type of wasp that is solid gold. They're about this big each, like that big. And they when they sting you, they leave a lump where they stung you about the size of a plum to an orange.
Nice.
And if you get too many stings, it can kill you. And like a normal wasp, it can kill you if you get too many stings, but you only need like 7 to die to one of those. And that also, their venom creates powerful hallucinations of your worst fears and stuff. And so, like
a Dementor.
Basically, but that's memories. These are just fears. Like, and say your worst fear or one of your worst fears is you dying. You can feel you dying many different ways. Like, it feels like you're actually doing that, and it's hard to tell what way's what, and it morphs the world. And like, for example, Katniss, when she gets stung, she sees it also random things, not all just fears, but like a butterfly balloons the size of a house and shatter into a million stars. And then like trees splash down where trees turn to blood and splash down and lap over her boots and stuff, and the blisters on her hands have ants crawling out of them, and then they go up and they go into her eyes, and she's like, she just can't tell what's real, what's fake, with all these very realistic hallucinations. And then like when PETA comes trying to save her, like he's like, Kato's chasing you, and she's just like, I'm on the ground. And he's like, yes, you are. Now run. Because she didn't realize she fell. Okay. She's like, I'm on the ground. And then,
gotcha.
And she sees him, and she can't tell whether he's an hallucination or what, because she's like, he looks like he was dipped in dew and just sparkling. And then Kato comes in. She's like, well, he's sparkling too. Is this a hallucination or what's going on?
Gotcha.
And so all that happens.
I'm a little lost as to why we're heading down this path. Do you remember why we're heading down this path?
I was talking about like the trees and then the tracker jacker after I'm following.
Well, I was asking your favorite character and then how she died.
Yes, and then I kind of got off track.
Okay.
Sidetracked. But yeah. So
okay,
that's
want to get back on track?
Yes.
Or you want to keep going down this path?
Back on track.
Back on track. Back on track. Okay. Do you prefer the books or the movies?
Books, but the movies are really good complementary to the books.
Okay. Okay.
Yeah, because the movies do explain a couple things that it seems like the author simply just forgot to solve in the books. Cause,
okay. Usually it's not that way.
Yeah, because it's like, specifically one thing that kept confusing me was why President Snow always smelled like blood and roses. Like, I understood the roses because he has a rose all the time and stuff, so he just smells like those.
Mm-hmm.
And then, but it never in the books really explains why he smells like blood. It gives some of her theories, but very off theories, like, does he drink blood and stuff? And she's like, I just imagine him dipping a cookie in blood. And it's so weird. But,
She says that in the
yes.
book? Oh, my.
She's like, I can't help but imagining President Snow dipping a cookie in blood and then just eat it. And she's like, but I doubt that's actually what he does. Maybe.
Well, he gets his iron in, I guess.
But it really is because any enemies he has, he poisons. Okay. And to make it not suspicious, he'll like invite them to a dinner party and kind of do like, what's that movie where the guy has like the poison in both of the cups and drinks his with the poison, but he has like a high poison immunity kind of thing?
Oh, Princess Bride, right?
Yeah. He kind of does that, but he doesn't have a high poison immunity, so he just takes antidote. But that still leaves like wounds all over his mouth where they're constantly bleeding. And so that's why his mouth always smells like blood. And it is resolved only in the movies of that. Finnick explains that. And so, yeah.
Interesting.
So, yeah.
Okay, what was your favorite book?
Oh. I would say the second one, but I really like the third one because it is... Oh, goodness. All of them are so good. Well, the first one has my one that I'm... favorite character that I'm saying, at least. Mm-hmm. Second one, I really like the arena, which is a clock that, like, each section has something that goes on in that hour and stuff. Okay. And, yeah, it's like a puzzle that you have to figure out.
Yeah, that's interesting.
Mm-hmm. And then I like the third one a lot because it was released same year I was born. Mm-hmm. And so it's really cool. And there are a couple funny parts in that where, like, I feel like in the movie it was really hard for the actress of Katniss, Jennifer Lawrence, to actually do because she's pretending to be bad at acting because Katniss is bad at acting.
Gotcha.
And so she's like, we fight, we strive for, what was the line? And Haymitch is like, don't worry, she's just warming up. And so that was funny. But then the fourth one, Ballad of Songbird and the Snakes, is really good because it has President Snow as a kid, and it goes pretty deep into, like, why the Capitol thinks it's right and how he's taught growing up that the Hunger Games is just a way to control, how does Dr. Gall put it, the endless war between the Capitol and the districts, that they don't want it to spiral into a actual physical war. So they're trying to control the districts now with the games so that they are like, oh, we can't try and attack them. So it's like the Capitol is scared of the districts, and so that then the districts are scared of the Capitol. And it's like this endless just fear of each other.
Gotcha.
And so it's one of those things that is a really interesting book in that kind of sense, where it is like...
See that power dynamic play out.
And, like, you see, like, some of President Snow's younger development. Like, him with his cousin that he treats like a little sister kind of thing, even though she's technically his older sister. And like, I like how the book represents his mind just processing things, like how he's like obsessing over one thing, but also constantly getting sidetracked off of a million things. Because honestly, I can relate to how his mind is thinking and how it processes.
Okay.
And it's also really interesting because he starts.
You don't get sidetracked. That's not
true. But he
just
starts
a little bit, maybe.
Just a tiny bit. But he starts off as a very poor kid. Like their family has like no money, hardly even enough for food, like district amount of money. They're literally starving. And then, but he eventually will become a president where he is super rich and stuff. But so he's constantly trying to put on this facade and hide that they're starving and poor and stuff and make it look like they're rich.
Gotcha.
Because he wants to keep up his father's legacy, because his father was very rich and they put all their money into like sponsoring the District 13. But then when District 13 rebelled and they destroyed District 13, they didn't have like any money coming in now. And so they're just like, and also he feels very much against the district because his father died in the war with the district. And his mother ended up actually dying in labor. Her what was going to be his little sister.
But she didn't make it?
No, she did not.
Okay.
Neither did the mother. And he was very close with his mother. And so you can see that.
A lot of boys are.
Mm-hmm.
So
and you see the respect he has for his father. It's a really good book.
There you go. What age do you think is appropriate for kids to start consuming Hunger Games?
Probably 13-ish, about my age, yeah. But it does, again, depend on the specific kid.
Sure.
If the kid is a lot more like, I'm going to say like Primrose Everdeen, Katniss's little sister, not yet, nope, because they're just too innocent.
So it depends upon the child.
Yeah, but if the kid, I think part of it is knowing about the current world, knowing some politics and stuff. I'm not going to get into politics on this thing, but if they know kind of what's going on in the world, I feel like that also kind of prepares them. Because honestly, so far, it's not been too different if you really look at the morals from our current world.
Yeah.
Of the capital / the government trying to like control.
Yeah.
The lust for control and everything. Yeah.
Okay. If you and we're at over 20 minutes here.
We can do a longer episode.
We can
please.
do a little longer. I don't want to go too long here, but I have more questions for you. If Hunger Games was going to be put into a theme park.
Oh my goodness!
What
yes.
would the land look like?
So I think that
what should it like? What does Rebekah think the land should look like?
I think that the most iconic arena probably would be the second arena, since it's a little bit easier to like imagine, because the first one's basically just forest. They definitely could have a area where it's just forest and stuff for to represent the first arena and stuff. But I think that the second one would be the main one, because it's like a clock. It is, and there's a lot of water areas. So I think that they could make some of those water areas like small little like either water pads or water park kind of esque area, pools, whatever. And so I don't know what they would do for like a ride, because it isn't really like a ride kind of movie / book. But like, I mean, maybe like you're a tribute and you're like trying to run through the forest or whatever. Or maybe like one of those interactive games that have like the little shooty things. Mm-hmm. But it would be more like an arrow one then. Okay. But I think they could do some with that. And like in each section have, of course they can't actually like put killer monkeys in there or anything. But they could do like a monkey exhibit in one. Or, and in another one they could have like mist machines, but like that have red light in it, so it almost looks like the blood rain, and then stuff like that.
Okay.
And one area has a bunch of insects, so they could. Well, it's Florida, so naturally there's a lot of insects, but they also could pump in that kind of noise.
Okay, so base it off the arena from the
Second one.
Okay.
But I definitely think that they probably could make a playground of the Ballad Songbirds and Snakes arena, which is the 10th Hunger Games arena, because that's a lot. It actually reminds me a lot of that one theme park in Disney, or not theme park, that one playground in Disney that's like the dinosaur playground. It reminds me a lot of that.
The Boneyard.
Yeah, it reminds me quite a bit of that.
Okay. Cool.
So yeah, what's your next question?
Oh, let's see. Well, we did favorite book. What's your favorite movie out of the series?
Again, the second one, but also the fourth one's really good. They didn't quite get Lucy Gray how I imagined her, because I didn't exactly imagine her like Hispanic, but I mean, it definitely does work with her sassiness and stuff. And I really like her. President Snow, young President Snow, they got him right on cue for exactly how I imagine him.
Okay, yeah, I was going to ask, like, which movie character best represents the book
Yes,
character?
that one. I would say that.
Young Snow?
Yeah, young Snow. Because they didn't quite get adult Snow right, but they got him pretty close.
Okay.
But then one thing, I don't know what it is about Tigress, young Tigress. She's not exactly how I imagine her, because like she sounds and looks exactly how I imagine her, but just I don't know what it is. Just something about her doesn't exactly seem like young Tigress.
Okay.
But then also I imagine Haymitch with black hair and Senna pale with black hair, which he's African American, but he's awesome still. He's really cool.
Okay. Awesome.
And Katniss is supposed to have black hair.
If you could
Gray eyes,
change
but it works.
one thing in the movies, what would you change?
Cast me as Clove. Since in the books, I look basically exactly like her. So.
Okay.
And I think that I could play those pretty well. I think I could play that role pretty well.
Okay, so what kind of comments should people leave? So we're asking them what
Favorite
their
character,
favorite character.
favorite
Well,
book.
do you like Hunger Games? What's your favorite character, favorite book, favorite movie?
I need to get the Nightlock since you don't like it.
Oh.
Entertain them for a moment.
On the Hunger Games episode, this is interesting. My co-host has left. You are now just listening to me, as you can see. Well, if you're on the video. Okay, well, yeah, I'm not convinced that I'm going to like Hunger Games any better than I did before. I really am not a big fan, I should say. But it's mainly just because of the goriness of the kids. So, don't like that.
Here, have some delicious Nightlock.
Oh, my. Okay, I'll have some Nightlock. Don't know what this is.
Not actually.
Oh, don't eat it?
No. And you're going to die in about 2 seconds.
Uh-oh.
Bye-bye. I'll bury you in flowers like Rue.
This is messy. Okay. On that note, as I'm holding frozen blueberries.
No, they're Nightlock.
Nightlock. Anything else you want to go over?
Everything.
Okay. I'm about to wrap it up here.
Okay,
and I don't want to hold these. Will you help eat them?
Yeah, heck yeah.
Okay. So that's...
Meh.
There we go. Okay. Yeah, let's hit a couple more points and then let's wrap up.
I did Clove's bubble braid.
Oh, there we go. Yeah, looks cute. Okay.
And tell me what you guys think about Kato and Clove together.
Okay, you're going to ship them?
100%. 100%. Yes. They're so cute together.
Okay.
He's so protective of her. It's so sweet.
I don't know these characters.
You guys won't think about it until I mention it. You won't be able to unsee it.
Okay.
You won't.
Should people start with the books or the movies? If they're new to Hunger
Books.
Games and they haven't
Well, I think it
consumed
depends
yet?
on the age.
Okay.
If
How
they're a
so?
little bit younger, I would say the movies, because the movies are a little bit less gory than the
Wow.
books. Because the books go into a lot more detail.
Gross.
The books go into a lot more detail.
Nice.
But the movies, they show a little bit of blood in the movies, but actually, surprisingly, a lot less, like, hardly any blood
Okay.
in the movies. And, like, for instance, Pia gets cut by, Cato, same thing. But, in the movies, it's just like a tiny little scratch. And the books, it's like him dying because of it. And it's like,
Okay.
what the heck?
Okay. Let's see. You have one last thing to add?
I want to talk more about Clove.
Okay.
Because she's amazing.
Give us some more information on Clove.
So, I like the deleted scene of Clove.
Okay.
Her interview. Because, you can tell she's kind of putting on a brave face there. But, why am I blanking on it? Caesar Flickerman. Why was I blanking on that name? Goodness.
I've never heard that name.
How dare you? Do you need more Nightlock?
Right at all.
But, so,
Now your tongue's going to be purple.
but so he, like, calls them up, and since she's in District 2, she is the third person to go up, since girl, boy,
Okay.
and she's the girl of District 2.
They go in order?
Uh-huh.
Okay.
And so, since ladies first, and then, he's like, so, how do you feel about this? She's like, I'm the best. He's like, okay, how so? I could kill you from across the stage. And he's just like, okay.
Get her off the stage.
He's just like, you don't happen to have any knives on you, do you? And she's like, unfortunately, the Capitol wouldn't let me bring them. And so, yeah. And her in the chariot, it's a very quick scene. You don't actually get to, like, she doesn't talk or anything, but you can see that her stylist did her no favors, because District 2 is like weapons and masonry and stuff. And so she just has like this outfit that like almost looks Viking-esque. It has like these wings on the side of the helmet and stuff. It's like just basically it's just like a golden armor suit.
There you go.
And she's just like,
Okay.
But yeah.
Okay.
Oh yes, I have a Hunger Games joke for you guys.
Oh, I haven't heard this one. I don't think.
Girl on fire plus boy with the bread equals toast. PETA is boy with the bread.
Okay. Because of his name, or does he actually have bread? Well, it's pita bread.
Yes, he throws her bread.
Oh, okay.
Burnt bread. And then also, I saw this meme of, on my For You in Pinterest, of...
I'm sure they laughed at that.
Yes. Of, what's it called? Of, there's a scene where Pia's like, hey, Katniss, want some bread? And she's, in the movie, she's like, yeah. But in the meme, she's like, no, last time you burnt it, since he had burnt the bread and thrown it to her.
There you go.
Since his mom wouldn't, she was like, feed it to the pigs and stuff. And he loves Katniss ever since like first grade. And it is like this romance story that is so funny and cute. But it is, there's this big debate of should she be with Gale or should she be with PETA, since both of them love her. And she doesn't know which one she actually loves. I have proof why it should be PETA. In her first Hunger Games,
Okay.
PETA, he didn't volunteer or anything to protect her, but he was called.
Mm-hmm.
And Gale could have easily volunteered as the boy to then come and protect her, which of course is something very, very dangerous to do and stuff,
Yeah,
especially since he's trying to feed her family some, but they already, like, she also has other ties and stuff that will help feed her family, so he could have tried to protect her more to then get her back home to then feed her family more again.
Okay.
But then in the second Hunger Games, Haymitch is called, and since it's out of the existing pool of victors, and so Katniss is the only girl, so she's guaranteed to be in the second Hunger Games again, and she's like, what? Since she hates the Hunger Games, of course,
for sure.
and she doesn't want to die.
Most of
Very
us
reasonable. And PETA, so PETA and Haymitch are the only male victors of District 12. Haymitch ends up getting his name drawn. PETA very easily could have left it at that, not risked going into the arena, not been in any form of danger. But he volunteered to go with her, to protect her. And so, yeah.
Well, cool. Well, thank you for giving us that last bit of information.
Yes.
Okay, did you have any
Last
shout-outs
time you
today?
burnt it. I want to shout out to a person in Roblox.
Okay.
Who hasn't quite, they always change their name.
Okay.
But it's gone from like Actress Co to, trying to think of what, so many. I think she said that the next one was going to be like Clove or something. I don't know for sure, but yeah.
Awesome.
Shout out to her.
Shout out to the Roblox
Mystery person.
Mystery person. Okay. Well, thank you for joining us.
Currently, I think it is District 4 Victor.
Awesome. Well, thank you, Rebekah, for walking us through Hunger Games today.
Anytime. Literally anytime.
She will talk your ear off on Hunger Games.
Yes, I will.
And
poor guy, he doesn't like it, and I still talk his ear off.
Thank you for paying attention.
Yes.
If you made it this far, leave a comment. Let us know what's up. We'll try to respond to everything we see, and like and subscribe, and we will see you on episode 4.
No, tiny chickens. Maybe it's in your flagellums.
There we go. We're going to exit with that note.